morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Brian J. with Connecting Communities. As you can see, Laura Lee is not here. No, listen, Laura had to kind of focus on some things. So she is sadly missing us as we are missing her. But listen, we got something just as good. Not as great, okay, because we love Laura, but just as good. We got my guy, Nick Olis Davis.
Whoop.
There he is, Nick. Did you have a heart attack out there, podcast world, because you thought he was going to fall out of his chair? He is a trained professional. Nick, how are you
That's
today?
awesome. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Yourself?
Doing well, doing well. It's a little chilly over here in Ohio. How is Texas?
A little chilly as well, actually. We're at right now. We're at
Okay.
39. Where are you guys at?
Oh, I'm pulling up my phone right now. Let's see where we are. 32.
No way. Whoa. That is crazy.
We beat you. We're colder.
Dude, that is awesome.
So it looks like we didn't get the memo today. We're both wearing orange.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? That's crazy.
There is a sad delay of about 5 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, it is what it is.
We're live.
We are live. We are live. Well, hey, before we dive into this daily topics, I want to make sure that I take care of a quick couple things. First and foremost, I want to make sure we thank our sponsors, right? Because without our sponsors, we would not be able to do this and have fun on a weekly basis. So, building Stratus Building Solutions. If you are looking to clean your facilities, give them a call, right? Remax with Justin Anus, Remax Preferred. He is our realtor over here. We also have David Dittman with Primerica. So if you're looking to invest a couple of your funds, that's the gentleman you want to work out with. Now, the person that's going to make sure that's all looking good on your bookkeeping is Tony Wood with Elite Bookkeeping Plus, right? And then last but not least, I know everybody has downloaded the C2 app. And as you can see, I have not created that, but Apollo Mobile Solutions created that, and they can create your app as well, okay? So definitely reach out to all of those folks. And speaking of reaching out to folks, we have Nicholas Davis again, depending on if you're bad or if you're good, if it's a Nick or a Nicholas, right? Everyone's calling you, Mr. Davis. Let's talk about reclaiming your premium.
Man, thank you for that. Yeah, it's reclaiming your premium is something that's very, very, very important. And so what it is I work in the wonderfully awesome and incredibly exhilarating world of health insurance. That goes wild. And
sound effects will be added later.
Okay. Oh yeah. I mean, you got to have fun with what you're doing. Step one. Step two, and you like I love reaching out and helping people in such a positive manner, which is really, really cool, right? Something that everybody has, but nobody really thinks of as much as they should, technically, is health insurance, right? I remember when I worked at a big, massive oil and gas company. I was just like, it came for open enrollment time, and I'm like, all I knew is that's the time I got to pick my benefits. And I was like, well, I'll that one, and that was basically it, that was my first maybe year or so. And then like the year or two after that, I got smarter about it. And I realized that I needed PPO for my family. The only reason why I wanted that for my family, this is back in the day, only reason why I wanted that for my family is because I knew all my doctors were in there. And then I knew that I wasn't going to have to pay very much when I went in for a visit. And that's about it, honestly, right? One year when I was at my, when I was in the corporate world and W-2 stuffs and whatever, I picked HMO just for fun. I like at the time I had no idea what it meant. Like, and I was like, HMO, this is a lot cheaper. Like, I want to save some money this year. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. That sounds like a great idea. It was like the worst decision I ever made when at a big company. Because it's like, everywhere I went, I was paying more for sure. Nobody was in network. I couldn't even find the network. I didn't know where it was. And then the other part about it is it was just really, really cumbersome, because it was, just trying to find like everything was more like my prescriptions were more expensive, my doctor's visits were more expensive, and literally just the worry of like where is the network, so to speak, So I'm going to dive into that for just a second. HMO, PPO, elemental P. I'm joking, that's not one of them. But what do all those mean, right? So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up, right? So the bottom, the one with the smallest network is called an EPO, exclusive provider option. And on that one, I kind of like make a funny Lord of the Rings analogy, and it's like one building to rule them all and one tiny facility to bind them, basically. Oh, such a dork. Anyway, so it's like maybe one or two buildings, and that's your hospitals in your network, right? Then you move up one tier and you go to HMO, right? HMO is Health Maintenance Organization, right? And that is when your health insurance, like all your doctors and your hospitals that are in network, are constricted to a few counties within your state. And then your state is out of network, basically, right? And then when you leave your state, no dice on health insurance. Oh, by the way, on EPO, those two buildings at your network, your states are out of network. And when you leave the state, no health insurance, right? So that's EPO and HMO, right? The next one over is PPO, which is Preferred Provider Organization, right?
That's the expensive one.
Well, and that's the thing is, like,
I feel like they've trained us to think, right?
Exactly. And so, like in most corporations, the expensive one is going to be your PPO, right? In corporations. Now I'll get to that in a second. And that's Preferred Provider Organization. It means you can go to any hospital, any doctor, unrestricted in the United States, right?
Choices.
Correct. Just all the choices. All the choices. Yeah. Now, between the lines on HMOs and PPOs and stuff like that, it's very, very important to know that if you, it's very important to know that not all medical centers will take HMOs either. So sorry about that. That's my dogs. And can you hear that? So sorry about that. That's okay.
We like animals here.
I tapped on the table and they thought it was the door.
Got it. Yeah. Rocco is sitting in front of me, just staring at me, waiting for me to give him the eye. And then he will be up here licking my face. So
basically, yeah. So anyway, let's see, where was I? I was on the
You're talking
PPOs.
about PPOs and how they
yes,
corporation making us think that that's the premium choice, the Cadillac version, the Ferrari,
yes.
Or as Jackson calls it, the Telsa. Is that the car? Telsa.
Tesla.
There it is. No, it's not in a Hot Wheels. I don't know.
you just had an old man moment. That was awesome. Well, like all that newfound doohickey that hey.
Yeah. Where's my Toyota?
Oh, that's so rad. So PPOs.
You called me old. You get that right?
No, I know. I know. We're here though. We're here. Okay. No stress. Awesome. My daughter. Just really quick, and we'll get back to PPO. So
no, please.
I was on a. I do daddy date nights with my kids. I have triplets. I've got 3 little girls, and so every week I take a different girl on a date, right? And they get to pick where we're going and what we're doing and so on and so forth. It's really fun. And so I'm sitting at this picnic table with one of my daughters, and she's like, "Daddy, look, there's old-timey cars here." And I'm like, "Old-timey cars? That's pretty cool." So I'm thinking like a 1920s car to 1950s car, maybe 1960s tops, right? But usually around that area, right? I'm like, "That's so cool." And she's pointing, and I'm like, "Where is it, sweetie?" And she's like, "It's over there. It's over there." And I'm like, "Where is it?" Bro, it was like a 1996 Mercury Grand Marquis.
Old-timey's car. It's an old-timey's car.
And I'm like, "Sweetie P, that's not old." And she's like, "Well, you're old, Daddy." And I'm like, I just got it.
Yeah. Jackson introduced me to his friends as, "This is my dad. He was born in the 1900s.
Well, it's true, though,
It is true. It is true. But I'm like, does it need to sound so old?
Dude, I know, man. That's a good point, too.
He's always had an imagination. when he was 5, he and his grandmother and his aunt and his cousin ended up going to Florida for the first time to Disney World. And when they got there, they got in a car accident. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came back, this is the story that he told people. Now, mind you, he's 5 years old. That
Okay.
him and his grandma got to Florida. They went to this bar, had a couple drinks, and then they got in a car accident. Here is the real story.
Oh my
They got
goodness.
rear-ended. They sat in a bar and drank water until the police came. But he's telling people they had some drinks. They got in the car.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that is
Kids,
so fun.
right? Okay,
Indeed,
so
indeed.
PPO, I mean, it's basically reclaim your alphabet. That's kind of what I'm hearing right now.
Kind of, kind of.
Okay.
So on the PPOs, you can go everywhere, right? But the thing is, when you have an HMO, you can't go everywhere. And you would think that, okay, cool, well, it's just, I'm just restricted to my counties and, it's in my network and my state's my outer network. I don't really travel all the time, right? But the thing is health insurance is there not to go to the doctor. It's there when stuff gets real, right? Just very much like you don't get an oil change, like you don't get car insurance for an oil change, right? You get car insurance in case something happens to your car, right? It's like you get health insurance in case something happens to your body. Same stuff,
When,
basically.
not if, when,
When,
because it
when.
always happens.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And so your HMOs, they're not accepted at all hospitals either, which is very important to know. So major centers of excellence, like your MD Andersons, your Kelsey Siebolds, and I think St. Luke's might be in there, but don't quote me on that one. But a lot of these big giant hospitals that have huge, well-renowned names, world-renowned names, they won't take HMOs, which is crazy, right? And you might ask yourself, like, why? It has to basically come down to a lot of it's with like medical billing and stuff like that. Um, Interesting stuff. Your HMOs, it's a health maintenance organization, right? So your care is actually managed by the insurance company, which is bananas,
That is
right?
crazy.
This is what I'm doing right now. This is pulling back the curtain of Oz right now, guys.
Right.
This is what we're doing, because this is not common knowledge. So your health insurance company is going to manage your care basically in your HMO because the insurance company is only going to pay one for one thing or the other, right? And the doctor, yes, they are definitely concerned about your health and well-being, which is it's just paramount among most. But keep in mind they're running a business too, and they also need to get paid, right? And if they have a chance to get paid 100% on what they're doing, or take a risk and see whether or not their patient's going to pay them, they're gonna not take that risk. It's probably why they're doctors. So there's that, right? Now, the interesting thing about PPOs is PPOs pay doctors per service rendered, right? So no matter what the doctor picks for you, like for whatever, like for example, if you need, like we had, there was a client, right, and she needed a full hysterectomy to cure what ailed her, right? Which was I think it was a cancer or something like that. I want to say, don't get me wrong, but and so she had an HMO, right? The thing is the HMO only paid for half of a hysterectomy, just because they're like, oh, we're going to pay for half. The doctor's like, you need a full one, and the insurance company's like, we're only going to pay for half. So the doctor only did half, right? And then they were like, okay, well, it'll probably get better. 6 or 8 months later, flared back up, and she's like, dude, I feel terrible. My cancer's back, blah, 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 blah. And it's worse than it was before. They're like, oh no, okay, well now we'll go in and take we'll go in and take the other half out because the HMO is going to pay for half, right? So this lady went to surgery twice and had flare-ups of cancer twice, and it was worse the second time. And I mean, luckily she's still with us, but that's intense. And all of that was brought on, like the second wave was brought on just purely by having the wrong insurance, right? And so if she would have had a PPO, they would have been like, yeah, full hysterectomy, that makes complete sense. And it would have been, it could have been way, way, way better for her. You know what I mean? So that's just an example of HMOs and PPOs. That's like diving a little deep, but kind of gets the point across a little bit. Now, to your point, of PPOs being the most expensive option. They're not always the most expensive option, right? Um, Prime example. I work outside of the marketplace. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And because of that, a lot of the PPOs that I work with are actually, yeah, the average is, between 30 and 40% less expensive than an HMO you're going to find on the marketplace, which is mind blowing. Just mind blowing. Now to the marketplace, you heard me mention that. Open enrollment ended yesterday. There are a few choice states that I did not memorize this morning, so my apologies. But a few choice states that have extended their open enrollment period
Oh, wow.
just by like a week. I think
That's
maybe I think
huge,
like
though. I mean, especially when people are counting paychecks, right? I mean, we are in the
100%,
middle of
100%,
Christmas.
100%. And so that was really, really cool of the government to do, because the government runs the marketplace, right?
Yeah.
And so, and the government runs the marketplace, and then major insurers would like they participate in it, so to speak, right? Some major insurers, not all. Like I'm a major insurer. We're not, or a lot of the people I work with are major insurers. They're not with the marketplace, right? Um, but that being said, the marketplace in most states in the United States, most states in the union, only have EPO and HMO on the marketplace. And to get a PPO on the marketplace, you need 50 people or more, which
Okay.
is completely bananas, right? So, Brian, what you do for the small business is nothing short of awesome. You do some amazing things. And especially
Thank
these
you.
podcasts are so cool, you know. And there's got to be somebody that reaches out to the small business, and you are that voice. And I think that is so rad. And
Well,
and to work
it's
with you
all
and partner
about
with you is so
creating.
cool.
When a
Yeah.
door is closed, I've always been one to create another escape, right? And this was a market that was not tapped into. Folks
Mm-hmm.
just like yourself, insurance folks, realtors, people that work at Mary Kay or Pampered Chef or
Mm-hmm.
Tupperware. Did I just say Tupperware?
You did. Ah.
So I'm told there is this company.
Oh
Look,
my
my mom
gosh.
had all the Tupperware.
Dude, my
Okay.
mom was a
And
Tupperware rep too, dude.
And listen, I remember the day that we got rid of our butter containers and put the
Yeah.
Tupperware containers in there. Okay.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And they're like, that
Everything was in a
Tupperware
butter
seal?
container. You're like, what? Get the lasagna. It's in the butter container. I'm like, there's
Yeah, oh
15
my gosh.
butter containers.
Oh, that's so awesome, dude.
But
That's
it's
so
all
awesome.
about, again, reaching out and giving a voice to them. I
Yeah.
try to do things two ways, right? One, low cost and affordable. We want to make
Uh-huh.
sure that you guys can afford it, you guys being small business
Mm-hmm.
owners.
Yeah.
And the second thing is an ROI, because
Yeah.
even if it's $5, you need to know where that $5 is going. It's an
Mm-hmm.
investment. You can't just throw
Mm-hmm.
money on the wall and expect it to work. There's got to be
Correct.
some ROI on it, right? Whatever
Mm-hmm.
that means. That might be a financial, that might be resources, that might be connections, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is that you're looking for. It doesn't always have to be a financial piece, right? But it has
Mm-hmm.
to match what you're doing. You can't just do something for it not to matter. And I say that in life. Like when you take a step, you're taking a step to go somewhere. You're not just
Mm-hmm.
taking a step because you have nothing else to do, unless you're
Yep.
thinking you're riding a bike, right? Because you're trying to burn some calories. But even then, you're still trying to do something.
Yep.
So why would you put money, your time, your energy into a business and have no idea what the return is that you're doing?
So, and that is a phenomenal segue to the same business model that I'm working for right now, which is why we work so well together, Brian,
Yeah.
is because I have the exact same beliefs and values when it comes to health insurance and your business, right? That ROI, just like you were talking about, Brian, is so important, right?
For
So
sure.
important. That's why Reclaim Your Premium exists. That's why I figured out, honestly, like there's nobody out there for the small businesses, the smaller small businesses as well. And the little guy is very much underrepresented in the health insurance industry, right? Because, basically the common belief is for all of us self-employed individuals. I'm 1099 guy now, by the way. For a whole year, it's been bananas. So
1098. We're still holding on the one. Like,
yeah. That's so rad, dude. So like, so that's the thing is for all of us, small business owners, contractors, contract employees, solopreneurs, people that pivoted in 2020, started their own business, stuff like that. What are we going to do for health insurance? We're not 50 people, right? And so how do you do that? Well, ta-da! I can help, right? I do PPO plans for the small business and everybody else around as well. So solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, mom and pop shops, all those guys, I got you. That's what I'm here for. That's what Reclaim Your Premium is about. Because all that money that you're spending money month by month by month by month, and you're not entirely sure what it is, just like Brian said, you're taking that step just to take a step, and you're not quite sure where you're going. That's why I'm here. That's awesome. Because I love to educate. I love to make it fun, and heaven forbid, get something for your value, bang for your buck. You know what I mean? Without being too salesy about it.
Well, yeah. I
But
mean, listen.
yeah, it's
Not
important though.
only am I, a board member of Reclaim Your Premium, right? I'm also a client, right? So I've
That's
sat
right.
down with lots of different people and heard lots of different spills, right? I could go to the marketplace and take care of it there. You totally could out there, right? But
Mm-hmm.
why not have some hand holding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not be able to have someone at your fingertips, literally, hand
Mm-hmm.
holding,
Oh
to be
yeah.
able to answer those questions? I mean, that's something that you were for me. I mean, I think we talked for
Mm-hmm.
about 2 weeks. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lie. We talked for like a week aggressively and assertively, where
Mm-hmm.
there were different questions and pops up. And then, we sat down and I think we even changed the policy, right? So I went from a higher one to a lower one, very easy. Like I wasn't afraid to ask that. I mean, it was super easy. I know that I have, referred you or passed you to some folks, and they have had a very similar experience.
Mm-hmm.
The calmness, the easiness, the not salesy, right? Listen, at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, we're all a business. Let's be open and
Indeed.
honest, right?
Oh, of course,
We're a
of course.
business, right? We've got to follow up. We have to ask the close, right?
Yep.
It is what it is. But there's
Yeah.
that person that is making you feel guilty, right? We've all had that salesperson, whether it's been a Kirby guy, right? And they've walked
Mm-hmm.
in and they've done that. Let me see your mattress test, right? And
Yeah.
we're like, oh, right? And that dirt is sitting there. And then they're like,
Yeah.
"Is what you're sleeping in?" And you're like, yeah, right. But you know what? That $1,500 tag, I'm okay with sleeping in dirt, right?
Yeah. And right. Yeah.
You have to be okay with that. But the cool thing is whatever the decision is, you're okay with. Like, listen,
Mm-hmm.
it's your stuff. It's not mine, right? I'm just here
Yeah.
to educate you. I think that is where the piece is. You're not there to sell someone, right? You're there
Yep.
to educate them. Now, if they happen to purchase, even better. But that's not what your
Mm-hmm.
goal is. Now, obviously, you want them to do
100%.
your business, right? I mean, it is what it
Yeah.
is. But you're not going
Yeah.
to be hounding them. So let me ask you this: with
Mm-hmm.
COVID, what have you seen? Have you seen decreases or people canceling policies because they can't afford it because XYZ? I mean, from what I'm understanding, Ohio's unemployment is running out like the 26th. Done. What does that mean for you, Nick?
So it is very interesting you mentioned that because it has done the complete opposite of the US marketplace. It has skyrocketed and just gone ridiculous. Reason why is you have that person that's like, well, I don't have health insurance. Oh, snot, I should probably get health insurance like right now because I might die tomorrow, you know? And so you've got that guy, right? You've also got the other guy that's like, hey, I'm on Cobra. I'm doing really great things. It really, really sucks that I lost my job and it's terrible. But my company said I can keep this benefit, and I'll still be safe and I can still have my own benefits, right? And even though I'm not working in there anymore, they can still cover me, right? Which 2 seconds touch on Cobra. Cobra is the benefits that are given to you once you leave a company. It's a government regulated deal. And what it is you're paying your employer's portion plus your portion plus a minimum 2% stitching fee to put it all together. Cobra is a 102% markup from what you would normally pay. And typically, health insurance wise, from something that's off market, it's going to be at least 100% more than what you're paying, which is than what you should pay rather. So that's Cobra's humongous markup. I could talk for probably another 20 or 30 minutes on that. But anyway, Cobra coverage. There's a lot of people that have Cobra coverage from their previous employer, and they're holding on to it. They're like, I haven't found a job yet, but I've got this Cobra coverage, and that's my security blanket, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got those guys. And then we've also got the other individuals as well. They're like, man, I lost my health insurance through my job because my job was like, look, we're not going to lay you off, and that's great because you still have a job, but we're cutting some benefits and we're cutting health insurance. And just like, I don't have the actual number on it, but it feels like maybe 5 to 7% of companies did that at least, where they were like, we're not going to fire you, but we're going to cut your health insurance. And you're like, what?
Right. Totally.
Now, from those things, very interesting things have happened, right? I've run into clients that are getting health insurance policies because they realize that, COVID-19 is in fact real, which is, I mean, that's a big realization for some people. And then the other thing is individuals are on their Cobra plans, and, I'll talk to them. I'll reach out and say, hey, how's it going? What's your Cobra plan look like? Da, 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 da. And a lot of the times they'll end up, they'll try to like shoo me off because they think I'm like a, door-to-door salesman or something like that. I'm like, look,
Sure.
I'm an advisor. My position, as mandated by the state and is literally to help, right? So let's take a look at what you have. And then more often than not, those individuals are like, what? I can save a lot of money. What? Like there was one guy, and everybody is completely different. I will put a disclaimer on this. Everybody is 100% different in their own situation.
For sure.
There was a guy that he saved, I think he saved almost like $9,700 or something like that. It was bananas a year, which is nuts. I mean, that's probably one of the largest, amounts of savings I've worked with so far, but it's totally nuts. And like, what is it? What does it do for you if you can save like so much money in something, right? Like for example, and this is of course not because he saved a lot of money on his car insurance. It's like a Geico commercial now. But he literally right now, he called me about a month before he made his current leap that he's on right now. And he confirmed with me, he's like, hey dude, you told me, the coverage that I have with the PPO is nationwide. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, absolutely, 100%, unequivocal. And he was like, awesome. I'm like, why? What's up? He's like, dude, I'm going to sell my house, put my family in an RV and travel the United States. And I'm like, what? And he's like, no, for real. It's going to be really cool. And I'm like, okay, right on, dude. And so he's comfortable doing that because he has health insurance he knows is going to work for him, which is great. And then, of course, the last situation that I was mentioning, I mean, it's really unfortunate when you lose something, right? Just in general, right? Now, as far as health insurance is concerned from your employer. Now, interesting things that the pandemic has brought about, right? There are a good bit of companies out there that are transitioning from, hey, this is what we're including in your paycheck. We're just going to take your benefits out of your paycheck. No big deal. There's a whole slew of companies that are trending more to, hey, this is your stipend for health insurance. Go find some.
Yeah.
Because for them, it takes a little bit of an expense off of their plate. So they don't have to, they're not obligated to give you health insurance, basically. Because in these are smaller companies that are under 50, basically, that are doing stuff like this. But it still gives them like, hey, at least we're putting that in there and we're giving, a little bit more value to you, right? And so then you got to beg yourself, like, what do you do? Like, how does that work, right? So a lot of the coverage that I work with is what I like to call suitcase coverage, right?
Okay.
Because it goes with you, which is really great. So when you have your own health insurance policy, that goes with you. No matter where you go, you have health insurance, and that's cool, right? So that's freedom is what that is.
It is freedom. I mean, knowing the fact that if something happens and I'm in the hospital on day 2, I'm being paid. I don't have to worry or try to get out early, right? Because I can't afford this.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a peace of mind that is extremely appreciative in my book of business, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to be able to offer that, it's all about the peace of mind. It's all about the peace of mind. Well, listen, I appreciate you sharing today. You gave us a lot of good information. Now, Nick, tell me this. If our listeners want to reach out to you, what is the
Mm-hmm.
best way to do that?
So there are multiple different ways. So hashtag reclaim your premium on LinkedIn or Facebook. That's a fun one. I'll give you all my posts.
And
If
that's
you want to,
reclaim with an R, correct?
yeah, the PH is silent. Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. So hashtag reclaim your premium. Also, Nick at reclaimyourpremium.com is another fun one. And then the last one here, to schedule a free look of your health insurance, a free look of anything you selected on the marketplace or you're comfortable paying, whatever, didn't matter. Bring it on, right? A free look of your policy, calendly.com/reclaim your premium. That's calendly.com/reclaim your premium. And that'll pick a schedule, or that'll pick a time that works best for your schedule that we can get together and just talk it out.
You do not need to be in Texas to hang out with this guy. You could be in Alaska, Arkansas, Alabama, and other states that don't begin with A. Not sure why I listed all A states.
Neither. I was like, yeah, okay.
I don't know. I guess.
Oh my gosh.
So today is a day. Let me just tell
It
you.
is. It is. It
is a day.
It's a beautiful Wednesday, man.
Right. It is Wednesday. I got some stories to tell you.
Oh, that's so rad.
I do want to talk about some stories that's happening. So in our world, Nick, did you hear what happened last night?
No, I've literally been like computer, like
Nick,
policies, like the whole time.
Gwen won her first voice. He's like, Gwen who?
No. Yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow, right? I'm joking. Here, speaking
yes,
of my
so
Alexa is
the
named computer and just turned on.
15-year-old boy won. His voice was heaven. Let me tell you. He has had me hooked from the first time. Oh, who are we talking to? Is that the missus?
No, that's my smart speaker.
Oh.
I named it computer, and I said it.
Got it.
Not you. It's very sensitive.
That's funny. Well, speaking of that, Jackson, I have my phone, right? And I have that they have to look in the eyes or draw the letter. They will look at Jackson's eyes and think it's me and let him in my phone.
Whoa. That's bananas, dude.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, gotta change that.
Yeah.
Can't be having that. So yeah,
right?
Carter won the voice, which is pretty big. I was kind of I didn't expect it because he's 15, but I was pleased that some talent went out. It was a good season this year as far as talent, and especially being COVID, right? There were so many different things that were situated in them.
Oh yeah.
Here's something I'm thinking about. What about movies, Nick? What's the movies doing? Like, we have not been able to go to a theater.
Over here in Houston, you can rent out a theater, which is cool. Okay. Like, so it's like I think it was like really inexpensive, like maybe like $30 or $40 a person or something like that. Or no, it was like 40, like maybe it was 40 or $50 for a room or something like that. Wow. I want to say you can just rent out a theater room, which is bananas.
But you can't have more than 10 people in it, right?
I don't know, man. I never really thought about that, but because the theaters are so giant, you can social distance.
Yeah.
Because it's giant, and what would normally pack 100 people, if you put 10 people in there, it's like enough you can play a football game basically.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you could put maybe more than 10 people in there, but I'm not 100% on that. I don't know.
Yeah, me either. We'll have to look into it. Check out your local theaters, guys. See what's happening.
One of my buddies had a birthday party there, and he was like, "It was cool."
Nice. Well, listen, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. We appreciate your time and energy today, Nick. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for educating us. But more importantly, thank you for making insurance fun.
No worries. It's my pleasure. Yes.
Where can we catch you? Are you doing any workshops, any speaking engagements, anything that we can kind of maybe slide ourselves into?
Yeah, I have I've got a podcast airing on Spotify, iTunes, probably YouTube, and there's probably going to be links to it on Instagram and Facebook with this podcast called Business and Bow Ties. It's pretty rad. The dude's pretty cool. We're wearing bow ties. We're having a good time. That should air. Bow ties. Oh, dude, 100%. That's going to air January 15th. And then I have another interview with TEAM Network, which is really, really cool.
That should be like from them, like last week, which I thought was kind of odd. It's still in my box. I haven't dove into it yet, but
Robert's a cool dude, man. Yeah. I've got that, and that should be January 15th or 16th. I want to say is when we're doing that interview. I just did another podcast with Yeraldly Media.
Is that the guy in the white suit?
It is. Yeah, with the hat.
I loved it. Cool. Yeah, I loved
Jesus Ortiz, such a cool dude, man. Such a cool dude. Check that podcast out. That just went out on YouTube. Yesterday? No, it was last week. It was last week Friday, I want to say. Yeah. Went out on that was YouTube Live last week Friday, and it'll go on iTunes and Spotify, and also of course YouTube. Then I've got it on my Facebook page and LinkedIn page, stuff like that. That's really fun. We did another health insurance talk there, and drank some whiskey, which is even cooler. Nice. That was fun.
You should come to Bourbon and BS. So they actually meet tonight, 5:30. Drink some bourbon and talk about some BS. Andrew Stapleton is hosting it. This is our second one that we're doing. 5:30 Eastern time. You should pop in. It might be a good conversation for you, my friend.
Eastern time. Okay, so that's 4:30 my time.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll have a hot date with one of my daughters at the moment, so I don't think I will. But next time.
For sure. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Don't forget to reach out to our gentleman, Nick Davis, with what?
Whoop, whoop. Reclaim your premium. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Be safe. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, and I appreciate your time and energy. Bye.
Later. Bye-bye.